Hello, welcome to Creative Technica. My name is Pathasati Mishra and I have brought to Android training for the beginners. In this particular video, I will tell you about file handling. How can you save your local data and settings in a file? Last time I told you about database. Now here you will save a file which will be visible to the entire operating system. And also I will tell you how to use shared preferences for saving the custom settings, which is much better compared to file. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start Android Studio. Create a new project. Let's call it File Manager. So what we'll do is we'll create one text box which will type some text, and we'll create a button by clicking which will write to a file. Let's say for example test.txt. Then we'll create another button which will be reading from that file, and another text box which will display the contents of that file. Okay? Because as you know, files are the most prominent way of storing data in an external way. Though they are not secure, anybody can access the file, because unlike SQLite, because though SQLite also stored as a file only, but you cannot directly access it actually unless you have root access. So this is the most appropriate way of storing the data when the security is not that issue, but the convenience is more of that importance. Okay, so let's start. Say right. Okay, so let's insert here all the components. Okay, now to create a file, you have to declare the file class, file. file is equal to new file, then give the path. So when you are accessing your SD card or your internal memory of your phone, the general statement to access it is environment dot get external storage directory dot get absolute path. It will give the complete path starting for start root. There you will still, because if you see, if you go to file manager, you can see this is your actual get external storage device location actually. If you create any file, it will come here actually. And you can create a folder or you can insert any of the folder. Okay. So this path plus slash, let's say test.txt, a file will create. Okay. So let's check. If it doesn't exist, then creates the file. If it doesn't exist, then create the file. And it's better to keep all these things inside try catch as suggested, so that you can know what exact error happened. Now to read and write, we need a streams class, file input stream or file output stream. Let's create file input stream and file output stream. Fine. So while writing, what we'll do is, let's put everything inside the try catch. When you're writing means you need output stream is equal to new file output stream. So file output stream dot write. It always writes and read in bytes, byte array. So what you have to do is your input text dot, as you see, get text dot to string dot get bytes. So in this way it writes. Now find output stream dot close. Fine. Now we have written to the file. Now similarly for read, we need input stream. File input stream. We can little bit customize this, because since you are writing multiple times, we can add a new line also. Let's call it string input text not needed. Since you are writing multiple times, you can add a new line also, so that when you add multiple times, it looks good in your file. Okay, looks better. Now here file input stream is equal to file. Okay, I have to read till you reach the end. Let's see, this is the string input data. Okay. Now creates a byte array, because you are also reading as a byte actually. Data is equal to new byte array. Let's say it is around 100 bytes. So file input stream dot read. How many bytes it is read? It returns actually. Data. While it's not equal to -1, the end of file it returns -1. It keeps reading. So input data plus is equal to new string the character encoding. Generally standard characters are UTF-8. If you leave that also, it will be same. Once the reading is done, the display text we have to show it. Fine. So simple. This file read and write operation. Sometimes if you want to debug, you have to create a log file. This is the way how you have to create it. One more thing is you have to add permissions for read and write external storage. Or you have to do use permission, read external storage, then write external storage. Since it is Android is targeted above Marshmallow, as I have explained in the components video, this permission is no longer valid. Since Android is now targeted above Marshmallow, so this will not enough to give the permission to read and write. So you have to declare runtime permission. You have to check if the permission is given or not. If not, then give it at runtime. For that, if context compact dot check permission, this the permission is manifest dot permission dot read external storage. Is not equal to package manager dot permission granted. If the permission is not granted, the same thing we can do for write also. Now to request a permission, create activity compact dot request permission. You can pass this context as activity, then string of permissions. Then a request code. So here you can pass these two. Okay. Now let's see how it behaves. Okay, it's asking for permission. Click allow. Now we have read and write permission. Now let's say hello, write something. Write. Now it's returned to file. Now we read from the file. Okay. Now if you go to file manager, you can say that we have the test.txt. You can see hello. If you can edit here also something. Okay. Now open the file manager app again, read. Now you can see. Simple. This is the most efficient way to store your data for convenience. I hope you can create your own file manager, manage your own database. Now one more thing which I want to share, which is called the shared preferences. See, file manager is quite easy, but just for small, if your application has lots of parameters where you have to arrange the parameters. For example, your one ID, one just like we created in database system, multiple parameters, ID, for example, another parameters, temperature, another parameter, for example, latitude, longitude, like that. If you write everything in the file, then you have to do lots of database management system to read and write without data corruption. Here it provides another similar way, though it writes to the disk but not openly. You cannot open that file. It is called shared preferences. Just like we have key value pair in content values, if you remember in our previous content provider tutorial, it has simple key value pairs. It takes care of how to handle that in the file actually. You have to only call the shared preferences. To do that, we'll do a small modification. We'll create a button to read and write, and we'll create a text box to display the value. let's call it ptm3 and call it update. Okay, now bring a plain editable text. Now instantiate these two. Okay, to have shared preferences, we have to declare the shared preferences class variable. Shared preferences. It is instantiated like this. Shared preferences is equal to get shared preferences, give a name my sp, then the mode. Okay, just like database mode private, it is also mode private. So when I click this button, it will write whatever there in the update text button to the shared preferences. Okay. So what we have to do is okay. Now editor dot, we are writing for example string, put string, the key, let's say name, and give a name for example Partha. Okay, then after that what you have to do is commit the changes. Fine, now it is done. Now same thing, when it loads, it should read the shared preference and update that text box. The get string, what you do is name, and if nothing is there, it should return blank string. Okay, text dot set, update this value. One mistake is that we have to give it as param text, not as the fixed value. It doesn't matter for the our testing purpose. Now let's see how it behaves. Let's see, I am giving my sp update. Okay, now run. So simple. This is how you store your attributes, your parameters of your application, different settings, just like we have registry settings na, same way. I hope you got a glance about how shared preferences and what is the use of shared preferences and how it is different from file handling. Only thing is the shared preferences you cannot access. It's stored in your application actual parameter list, which we need root access. I hope you got a glance about how to use file handling in Android and how to use shared preferences. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and comment, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We'll be right back to you with another exciting tutorial very soon. So till now, thank you.